Hi, it's Nguyen, and welcome to another episode of the Bitcoin Vision, updates on developments in the Bitcoin SV ecosystem. I'm traveling without our normal camera crew, so this episode will take a bit more of a laid-back approach. And in fact, I'm coming to you from a good old-fashioned library, as you can see from behind me. It's good to be around physical books once in a while. I'm still bringing you all the latest news for the Bitcoin SV ecosystem. Bitcoin SV is rebirth of the original Bitcoin, finally unlocking the true power of Bitcoin's original design, protocol, and Satoshi vision. Watch as we dig into the latest scaling developments from the Bitcoin SV node team, Bitgraph, the new Python BSV Wallet SDK, a great developer documentation series from our friends at MoneyButton, and finally, the latest Wright Vision from nChain Chief Scientist Dr. Craig Wright. There's so much happening in Bitcoin SV, so join us to be part of the Bitcoin Vision. So let's start with scaling news. There's been recent news from the Bitcoin SV scaling test network, where the team behind the Bitcoin SV node project successfully ran a test demonstrating continuous 128 megabyte blocks, not just for 24 hours, but for 36 hours. Bitcoin SV node lead developer Daniel Connolly wrote in a recent blog post about the test, which ran from March 7th, 2019 midday to about midnight on March 8th, 2019. The test resulted in 246 blocks, each 128 megabyte in size, being produced over the course of the test period. The blocks contain a total of 89 million transactions with an average size of 354 bytes each. This is equivalent to 700 direct cash transactions per second over the entire test period. Now, these results are on a test network for now, but they lay important groundwork for achieving similar results on the BSV mainnet. In addition, the tests demonstrate that Bitcoin, the way it was originally designed by Satoshi Nakamoto, can indeed scale to achieve global transactions. From scaling news, we now go to the latest news about BSV block sizes. They're getting bigger. Data from the website CoinDance shows the steady growth of Bitcoin SV block sizes since the op return data size limit was lifted. The BSV daily average block size exceeded that of Bitcoin Cash BCH a few weeks ago and is quickly catching up to Bitcoin Core BTC. Steve Shatters, technical director for the Bitcoin SV node team, remarked about the news that whilst work on improving volume capacity continues, this alternate use case demonstrates clearly why larger block size limits are needed now to support the creative explosion we are currently seeing in Bitcoin SV developer and business communities. We intended to raise the block size limit on the BSV scaling test network even higher than 128 megabyte very soon to support further research into the next level of scaling. Well, you know, as I always say, I like big blocks and I cannot lie, and I like them getting bigger every day on BSV. Speaking of op return, you can now track data about its usage. The team at whatsonchain.com has enabled the ability to track all kinds of fascinating statistics about use of the op return data field, which has gotten very popular since the data size limit for op return was lifted. You can search for op return transactions, and you can see what services and applications are using the op return field. Check it out at whatsonchain.com and see the growth in usage of op return. Moving on to new applications, mysterious Bitcoin developer Unwriter has introduced to the world Bitgraph, an interactive visual graph explorer for Bitcoin. The tool allows users to navigate the entire Bitcoin transaction graph dating back to the Genesis block. You can also navigate by clicking on the vertices, creating an interesting and very visual new approach to a block explorer. Check it out at graph.bitdb.network. Next, we have the impressive new Python BSV Wallet SDK and general Bitcoin SV library. It's the latest project added to the BSV devs directory. It features Python's fastest available implementation, 100 times faster than the closest library. New additions such as Python BSV make it easier and easier for for developers to build on the Bitcoin SV blockchain. They also demonstrate the continued rapid growth of infrastructure for Bitcoin SV. Speaking of BSV developer tools, this episode's Satoshi shoutout goes to Ryan X. Charles and his team at MoneyButton. MoneyButton have created a developer documentation series to teach you everything you need to know to build on the Bitcoin SV blockchain, with or without MoneyButton. The first three that they've rolled out have to do with big numbers.
So we're starting with big numbers because big numbers are basically the most basic thing that you need to know if you're actually going to be programming apps.
Points and hash functions. They'll continue to do more, and this really demonstrates the Bitcoin SV community's commitment to help grow the whole ecosystem by contributing their time, resources, and knowledge. It also demonstrates why Bitcoin SV is the clear choice for enterprise adoption. And now it's time for the latest Wright Vision from nChain Chief Scientist Dr. Craig Wright. Each week, Dr. Wright authors a Medium post where he describes exciting new uses of the Bitcoin SV blockchain, in particular using nChain intellectual property. A recent post was entitled, "Profiting from Privacy, Social Media Platforms." In it, Dr. Wright describes the problems that social platforms such as Facebook and Reddit are facing with their outdated business models of selling user data as a monetization strategy. Instead, he envisions a different system, which incorporates nChain inventions, such as the patent-pending blockchain-implemented method for control and distribution of digital content, which taken together can form the underpinnings of a new system that treats the integration of user information in a way that is secure, more private, and allows access across multiple groups. The system would reinvent the dynamic of user data and user interactions on a social network. So imagine, for example, a world where Facebook is not charging advertisers for access to your user data, but where you, as a user, can actually charge other people with Bitcoin SV micropayments for the ability to connect with you, to be your friend, to send you a message, to interact and engage in activity on your user profile. Or conversely, you pay Bitcoin SV micropayments to other users to do the same. It is a whole new way of thinking about social media and providing more power and independence to you as a social media user. And it's a great example of how nChain intellectual property and the Wright Vision is unleashing the true power of Bitcoin in the form of Bitcoin SV. To learn more, read Dr. Wright's post about profiting from privacy. So those are the latest developments with Bitcoin SV. It's amazing to see how rapidly this ecosystem is growing as people around the world collaborate to create the world's new money and global enterprise blockchain. Now, as much as I love a good blockchain, I also really love a good book. So I'm gonna go behind me and check out some of the books at this library. I'll see you next time. I'm Nguyen, and this is the Bitcoin Vision.